classified.
This review is brought to you by Jackthreads. So in case you somehow missed it, XCOM Enemy Unknown was one of my absolute favorite games of last year. It breathed new life into a mostly forgotten genre, and among its many accomplishments, it managed to make each of the game's decisions feel tense and urgent. Now, just 1 year later, Firaxis is aiming to build upon that success with Enemy Within, a big, meaty expansion in the tradition of classic PC expansion packs. But does more content make a better XCOM? Let's find out together.
So, what is it, Doctor?
Like Firaxis' expansions to Civilization, Enemy Within does not drastically alter the core game's arc. You're still building a single XCOM base, you're still killing and researching the alien invaders, and you still have to dabble in psionics in the last third of the game. But even as that basic structure remains unchanged, Enemy Within provides a host of new toys to play with and reshapes the day-to-day threats facing the XCOM organization. Probably the biggest addition is Enemy Within's new class, the mechs. And they are just as badass as they sound. Available from pretty early in the game, soldiers can now be modified into giant cybernetic killing machines that start off with either a flamethrower or a rocket-powered fist, but can eventually be upgraded to shoot mines, launch grenades, and even fly on top of buildings. As exciting as it is to watch them run across the battlefield and rocket punch an alien into oblivion, the mech's most significant trait is that they can't use cover. Cover has been the backbone of XCOM's traditional tactical layer, dictating almost every decision as it stands between you and certain death.
Need to find some new cover.
Now, by removing that concern from the mechs, the strategic playbook is thrown wide open. The result is a class that feels as unique as it looks, and most significantly, creates some fresh tactical situations on the battlefield. It would have been easy for such a drastic addition to disrupt what made the original so good, but instead they integrate in such a cohesive way that they serve to reinvigorate the game. Now, of course, you can't just chop off the arms and legs of every soldier and shove them in a cybernetic suit, so Dr. Valen and company have pioneered genetic modification. Here, the genetic sequencing of soldiers can be altered to provide additional perks like bonuses to aim, health regeneration, and even cloaking. Unlike mechs, this process retains a soldier's original class, so you can gift your sniper an additional height advantage, for example. The gene mods do not shake the tactical core of missions as much as the mechs, but their bonuses are not insignificant. Being able to mod your soldier to jump on buildings or recover a small amount of health can absolutely turn the tide of a battle and provide further specialization to the individual classes. Of course, rampant, irresponsible transhuman experiments are expensive, and XCOM's research relies on a new resource called MELD. Scattered throughout UFO and abduction missions, MELD canisters must be retrieved before they expire and are required to build mech suits and implement genetic modifications. The result is an entirely new set of tough decisions for the player to make. Do you risk your soldier's tactical positioning and safety to retrieve the canisters before they expire, or do you delay your research back at the base?
Is there anything you agree on?
The constant balance of risk-reward was at the heart of Enemy Unknown, and by introducing an entirely new set of agonizing decisions, Enemy Within recaptures the feeling that made the original work so well.
In hand, Commander.
The title Enemy Within could easily describe the amputation-happy engineers at XCOM, but the title is probably referring to the Exalt, a new enemy that is decidedly more human, sort of. These alien-sympathizing Splinter Cell groups show up about a third of the way through the campaign, and although the game can be completed by completely ignoring them, they'll constantly be stealing funds or raising panic levels if you don't deal with them. Fighting the Exalt requires giving up one of your soldiers as they infiltrate the group, which then results in sending a full squad to extract them, along with some precious intel and a couple of new mission types. The mission types are unique to the Exalt, but they don't feel especially different. Your enemies, on the other hand, certainly do.
X-ray neutralized.
Their classes mirror your own, so you have to worry about new tactical considerations, like an Exalt support popping smoke, or a heavy taking out a small crew with their rocket launcher. As you take out Exalt cells, you learn more information about the group, culminating in an attack on the organization in one of XCOM's member countries. This mission definitely feels special, and it, along with the several other new council missions in Enemy Within, managed to surpass the mission-designed heights of the original game.
Well, that's new.
I just wish the individual Exalt missions felt more distinct.
That's it, Commander.
There are 2 new alien enemies that show up throughout the regular missions as well. The Mechtoid, a sectoid equivalent of your mechs, shows up with dual plasma weapons and a large health bar, as well as the Seekers, who are squid-like mechanized aliens that show up in pairs and can stealthily immobilize and strangle soldiers who have gotten separated from the pack. I wish we had seen more new enemies, but the Seekers smartly add some terrifying new threats in the early to mid-game. That squad sight sniper isn't quite as safe as he once was. There are other additions. Although Enemy Within still uses the same basic campaign as Enemy Unknown, there are several new council missions with unique locales, as well as a ton of new maps thrown into the mix, although perhaps not as many as I'd like. If you played a lot of Enemy Unknown, be prepared to see several of the old maps throughout the campaign, even as some of them have been tweaked with new assets.
Voilà ce qu'on cherchait.
You can also now award soldiers medals, which can provide small stat boosts. There's also a bevy of new items, like the Mimic Beacon, which can distract aliens from your position, or the gas, needle, and cloaking grenades, as well as a ton of new Foundry projects and research options. Class skill trees have also been shaken up, which might make you reevaluate your favorite sniper or assault build, and you can even further customize your soldiers with additional outfits and the very cool option to choose their spoken language.
Allez, c'est rien, tu vas t'en remettre.
There are issues, some of the familiar graphical glitches remain, but I never encountered anything that impacted the gameplay. Additionally, mechs can make a playthrough on normal feel much easier, and the regular Exalt missions did become repetitive at times, but ultimately these are pretty minor concerns.
Firing incendiary.
Firaxis is a studio that's known for putting out rich, substantial expansion packs, and Enemy Within is no exception. It introduces enough new elements to make core gameplay feel fresh, and it makes small but important tweaks in enough areas to force experienced players to shake up their strategies. It's likely not going to sway anyone who didn't care for Enemy Unknown, and if you're expecting an entirely new game with a unique plot and an entirely new set of maps and missions, you will be disappointed. But for fans of the original who want more XCOM, Enemy Within delivers more XCOM. And mechs. Don't forget about the mechs. XCOM Enemy Within gets a 4 out of 5. Now let's take a quick moment to thank our sponsor, JackThreads. JackThreads is the #1 online shopping destination for dudes serving up apparel, accessories, and gadgets from brands like Converse, Penguin, and Vans. JackThreads makes shopping easy and offers more than 50% off of the latest fall gear and gadgets. Best of all, you can skip the membership waitlist and support Rev3 Games by signing up at signup.jackthreads.com/Rev3Games. So there you have it. I really liked Enemy Within. It is out this week as a $30 expansion on Steam, while the console version is bundled with the original game in a $40 Commander's Edition. You can thank the console manufacturer download limits for that one.